your shot, and we will whip these guys out.
And so caught by George Kittle.
Oh, hey there.
Feels great, baby, George Kittle.
You better get ready, 'cause it's gonna take off.
Try it again.
Runs over a man. They can't tackle him.
Oh, he's
He
a
ran
beast.
right through their whole team.
Hey, baby, all day long. Get the tickets.
Wide open George Kittle.
When it's over, you will remember me.
He is one of the best shows in sports, that George Kittle. We love him here on the show. If you love the NFL, you love seeing him on the field. You love seeing how real he is. He is genuine. He's a hard worker. And he went to the Super Bowl this year. And now the draft is over. They're getting over their Super Bowl loss. The free agency period is sort of dwindling. And now the Niners are looking to sign him to a long-term deal. John Lynch, their GM, said, quote, George isn't going anywhere. But with that being said, Kittle could become the highest paid tight end in NFL history if and when a deal gets done. So, Shriggs, will Kittle be setting a new standard for the tight end market, you think?
Absolutely, Kay. And I couldn't be happier for him. This is one of the great ambassadors of our sport and a wonderful person in his community and a great teammate. I don't know if you guys know this. He's the 22nd highest paid 49er right now. Ahkello Witherspoon, their third corner, and K'Wan Williams makes more money than George Kittle. Kendrick Bourne makes more money than George Kittle. He's going to smash the market. And I think the Niners were aware of that. And that's why they had to maybe move some pieces and move on from a DeForest Buckner, maybe not re-sign an Emmanuel Sanders, and instead go the rookie route and bring in Kinlaw and, of course, Brandon Ayuk. But this is one of those deals where the Niners have known it's coming down the pike. They are ready for it. They are aware that they made this Trent Williams deal and he's going to want money and all this. But Kittle is the priority. And I can't believe that it's gone this far. I think there will be a time in the next few months where Kittle says, okay, rubber hits the road here. I'm not going to take the field, still making this. I'd like to get that extension. And I know the Niners are well aware and are working on it. And he should.
As he should. You're right about that, Peter. Listen, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, one of four players in 49ers history to do that. You know the other guys? Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and Quan Bolden. And we know what those guys meant to not just the 49ers, but meant to football. In last year, he cracked 1,000 yards, and I know Kyle can speak on this a little bit more because he was heavily featured in angry runs. I believe he played half the season with one arm, and I mean that literally. It was hanging off of his shoulder. You know, people might make the argument, well, you know, Travis Kelce is the guy that should be the highest paid. You know what? Knowing Travis Kelce and knowing how he feels about the younger tight ends coming after him, Travis Kelce will be happy if George Kittle reset the market. Yeah, I do feel like Travis Kelce right now holds the title as the best tight end in the business, but the guy that's coming right after him, nipping at his heels, that's my guy, George Kittle, man. He's in that list of top 5 tight ends, and Ertz is in that as well, because I don't want anybody out there in Philly to get mad at me every time we mention tight ends and we don't mention him. But, yeah, he should reset the market because he deserves it.
It's like I always say, Nate, pay this man. You got to pay this man. As far as I'm concerned, they should have given this a contract extension before he left the Superdome against New Orleans. This is when you knew this was going to happen. I remember we all talked about it. The title games happened, and we found out, you know, it's going to be Chiefs versus Niners. And the first big animation and poster came out, and it's Patrick Mahomes' face, and it's George Kittle's face. It's a tight end as the face of the team, and he really is. He's the team's entire personality. I also like that Kittle loves being a tight end. Tight ends were having a nadir a few years back. And remember when Jimmy Graham was trying to split contract hairs and say, well, I'm actually should be paid as a wide receiver because I'm not in a three-point stance much. Kittle is the one calling himself the people's tight end, the National Tight Ends Day. And it's funny that John Lynch is going to be the one signing the contract on this because when Lynch played, tight ends were tight ends. You know, outside of a few anomalies like Shannon Sharp and Tony, tight ends were big, lumbering third tackles. That's who it was. We saw Ben Coates playing on the network recently, the former Patriot, who also wore 87 like Gronk. And if you think of Ben Coates as this prolific receiver and this fleet-footed guy, Ben Coates, we looked it up, ran an unofficial 4.95 40. Wow. That was Ben Coates. That's the 90s tight end, and that is Gronk, or rather that is Kittle, who looks like Gronk. And you look at all this money right here. Cameron Brate is a nice player, and Austin Hooper got the big deal with the Browns, but I think Kittle's going to be way, way up there, and he should be. He is a great tight end. He loves tight end, and he is the face of the 49ers. You can't say that about a lot of people in the history of that position.
He loves playing tight end, and he does that very well. Austin Hooper, weirdly, that deal with the Browns you just mentioned makes him the highest tight end per year. So he should blow that out the water. And yes, he might love playing that position, Kyle, but he should be paid those wide receiver dollars. That is what he does. I'm talking $15 to $18 million range. That is what the market calls for. Over the past 2 years, he's got more receiving yards than Amari Cooper and Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham Jr. And those guys make almost double what the highest paid tight end in the National Football League makes. That does not seem fair to me. So I'm with you. Pay the man, as Nate would say. Okay, guys, it's not every day that you get to play against your brother in the NFL. And on this special night, 3 brothers got to share what has to be called just a once-in-a-lifetime moment, playing in front of all of their family and their friends.
Just growing up, we always were tight. We always did things together.
Man, we compete everywhere. Trey Edmonds, I play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Terrell Edmonds, play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tremaine Edmonds, play for the Buffalo Bills.
The family business is football, and business is good.
These brothers are the nicest, most respectful kids I've ever met.
You know, we never really played together in high school. A lot of people think we played together in high school, but being able to do it at the highest level, you know, in front of that crowd that was there in Pittsburgh that night, man, it was mind-blowing, you know. At first, we kind of didn't know what to expect.
Edmonds playing against a couple of brothers tonight.
We had a lot of family and friends in attendance, you know, in our parents' front row with split jerseys and split hats and all that stuff.
There's mom and dad over there. We're cheering for everybody. We're everybody today.
But we do everything with each other, so it's pretty much all the same.
All together all the time.
That is Trey Edmonds, 50, 45, 40. They sack him. Tremaine Edmonds got him.
Terrell Edmonds blocked that ball.
Let me just think about my favorite game from last year. Probably against the Rams. Because it came down to the wire. Had a big-time deflection at the end.
The pass will be broken up in the end zone. Terrell Edmonds.
Wow, what a play.
And that does it.
I think my best moment probably was the run versus the Colts.
I love Trey Edmonds. He runs hard, he runs physical.
Longest run of the year for a Steelers rusher, 45 yards.
Terrell. He was in front of me, and I just saw a lot of grass, and I took it. It was a neat and cool experience.
You know, playing in Houston, man, it was exciting, man, just because it's nothing like that playoff atmosphere.
Watson trying to get out of it. Can't find anybody. He is sacked. He is brought down by Tremaine Edmonds back at the 18-yard line.
Thankful for all the essential workers out there, everyone that's going in, day out, just helping us out. And let's all stay together because separated, we wouldn't be able to get through anything.